Friends. The story begins here, when the Taliban achieved continuous victories in Afghanistan, and the United States realized that the Taliban could no longer be stopped by force alone. It was not that the United States suddenly decided to leave Afghanistan. The real story was something else. 2010. The beginning of behind-the-scenes contacts. The first contact between the Taliban and the United States began not on the battlefield, but behind the scenes through secret channels. These contacts were not easy. The United States suspected that the Taliban were negotiating just to gain time, and the Taliban were sure that America's intentions were not clear. But then one thing brought the two closer together, and that was exhaustion. On one side, the United States, which had achieved nothing despite pouring billions of dollars, and on the other, the Taliban, who were constantly making sacrifices, but were isolated internationally. Friends, when the atmosphere for talks was created, a place was needed where neither the Taliban felt pressure, nor the US felt threatened. This place was created, Doha, the capital of Qatar. An office was opened here, which was named the Taliban Political Office. The main role behind the establishment of this office was Mullah Akhtar Mansour and Shah Mohammad Abbas Staniksai, and other diplomatic minds worked hard to make it a reality. Why was America forced to negotiate? The question arises here. Why did America, which called the Taliban terrorists, sit at the negotiating table with them? Friends. There were three major reasons for this. 1. Continuous war failures. America was not getting any military success. Economic pressure. The American people no longer wanted to spend billions of dollars. Political change. The Trump administration decided to end the endless war. And what did the Taliban want in the negotiations? The Taliban had one demand: complete withdrawal of foreign forces. But at the same time, the Taliban also wanted a political identity. They wanted the world to recognize them not as mere gunmen, but as an organized political force. These negotiations were not just verbal, but a full-scale war of the mind. Every word, every sentence, even every facial expression was scrutinized. The US wanted the Taliban to agree to a ceasefire immediately, but the Taliban insisted on a full and clear withdrawal schedule first. And then, an agreement was reached. February 29, 2020, that day in history, when after 2 decades an agreement was reached. Doha Agreement. Key provisions of this agreement. The withdrawal of US and NATO forces was fully agreed. The Taliban assured that they would not allow Afghan soil to be used for terrorism. The release of prisoners, and the start of intra-Afghan talks were promised. But friends, was it all that easy? No. So friends, the Qatar talks agreement was apparently a great success, but there was another story behind it. Because the US made the agreement, but the Afghan government, which the US itself brought to power, it was unhappy with these talks. And from here a new game began. The role of Ashraf Ghani, the reality of intra-Afghan talks, and the most important question, was the US really leaving? Or did it want to trap the Taliban in a political quagmire? You will know all this in the next episode, which will be titled, What was America's Real Plan After the Doha Agreement? Was handing over power to the Taliban a conspiracy? Or an inevitable reality? So friends, if you want us to continue bringing you these hidden and real aspects of history in the same way, then like the video now, give your opinion in the comments, and most importantly, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, then do it now. Because this is not just a YouTube channel, this is a voice that is telling history in a new way. See you in the next episode. Until then, God bless.